Hey everyone, this is Roll with Paternity University. Thank y'all so much for viewing this video. If you like it, like it. If you want to comment, feel free to comment, subscribe, and then share to somebody that you might think could use this information. So I want to talk about the power of outsourcing and systems in your DNA testing business. And then some of this obviously can be applied to other businesses, notary or fingerprinting or whatever. All right, it can be applied, but here's the thing. You have, if I don't know if you've ever heard of the ESBI quadrant. It's the Robert Kiyosaki book. It's called the cash flow quadrant. Okay. So the employee is the person that's working for somebody. Got it? Right? Most of us are employees. We work for somebody. Nothing wrong with that. All right. And then you have the self-employed person who they do everything themselves. Essentially, they not really necessarily a business owner. They own a business or they own a consultancy or own a practice of some sort, but they do everything themselves. I'm talking answering all the calls, doing the sales, accounting, data analytics, marketing, all that. They're doing everything themselves. Okay. And then you have the third quadrant, the business owner who outsources stuff. He hires or she hires professionals or contractors to handle things. So for example, I don't do my own taxes with business and my personal taxes. All right. I have a bookkeeper to track my profit and loss per quarter. And at the end of the year, she compiles it all, sends it to the accountant. The accountant handles everything. Okay. I don't answer every single one of my calls. I have a virtual assistant and soon to be two virtual assistants to answer my calls and then handle some of the back end operations. Even with Gray Helix, my software, I don't do all the coding. I have a software engineer who does all that and oversees another developer to make sure it's done right. All right. So, and then the last quadrant is the investor quadrant. And that's the person who, puts money into a business and hopes to get a return. Right. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with being, I'm an E and a B. Okay. I'm an E and a B. All right. So there's nothing wrong with being employed and then also being a business owner. But what you want to do if you're self-employed and you want to scale to a higher level, you want to get into that B quadrant, that business owner. So how do you do that? Systems. Okay. So you have one DNA agency owner, right, who answers every single call. They answer every single call. They, do every single test themselves. They, do all the marketing, if they do any marketing at all themselves. And they're capped at a certain level. They may only be able to bring in at most maybe $60,000 a year in sales. Okay, at most. And then you have the person who is more systems oriented, who's a business owner. That person has a assistant to answer their calls. They're bilingual. Okay. And can also kind of coordinate paternity testing wherever the test may be. Okay. They have systems in place, standard operating procedures. They have a bookkeeper and an accountant to track all the expenses and profit and loss and all that stuff every month, for each quarter. Okay. They may have a search engine optimization person that works on the website and makes sure the website is keyword rich and optimized so that it can be found on Google faster. Okay. And they have all these things so they can focus on strategy. So they can focus on 3-4 quarters out, the remainder of the year. How do I get the business past a certain point? How do we increase sales from the last quarter or over the year-over-year sales? It frees up your time so that you can focus on building because you got to pay all these people too. You got to pay all these people. Don't forget. So you have to keep income coming in so that you can continue to pay your team, right? So the importance of outsourcing allows you to free up that time to think of strategic goals so that you can bring in more income so that you can build the business to either get it to the point that you want to get it to or one day sell it. And by the way, when you sell a business or if somebody wants to buy a business, they want to buy something where the owner may not be involved in every single minute detail of the operation because they want to buy the business so that they can kind of let it run on autopilot essentially, right? And then make their improvements to it so they can feel as though they can build it better. They don't want to buy a business that they have to work in every single day, all day long, right? So how do you do that? How do you set up systems? Well, the beautiful thing about these last few years, obviously, not beautiful about the pandemic of people, dying and having irreparable damage to their bodies. But the thing that it was a combination of the gig economy, okay, and virtual assistants and people working from home and people being able to work over Zoom and work over email and do things, okay? That's what's happened. So you can start looking, especially if you're a DNA agency owner, once you get a certain amount of income coming in, you get that experience doing your calls, you can start looking for virtual assistants. You can look on Upwork. You can look on virtuallatinos.com. You can contact Annalisa, her agency, Just Annalisa on Twitter. You can look her up and contact her agency to see if you can find somebody to answer your calls. That's the first step of outsourcing. And then from there, you definitely want to have a bookkeeper. You can get a bookkeeper and pay them maybe 175, $200 ish a month or so, to make sure that all of your transactions are squared away. Everything is locked down, so you don't have to do all that stuff at the end of the year. All right, it's a hassle. Taxes is not my thing. All right, I'll let a professional do that. All right, so those are things to start, and places to start looking to start outsourcing. I have never met, except for my bookkeeper, I have never met any of the people that I outsource my work to in person. I have not met them. I built relationships over time. I trusted them, and they do good work for me, and they see the vision for the company. All right. So that's the power of outsourcing the systems. It is incredibly important if you want to scale to a certain level, to where one day you want to be able to go to Tahiti and be on the beach and maybe answer a phone call or a text for a significant action, but nothing, small and minute. You don't want to be answering calls on the beach. Your phone gets too hot and it shuts off, right? You want to leave your phone in the room and enjoy the beach, with your family or your wife or your husband or something like that, right? So that's the importance of systems and outsourcing. And that's how you scale to be a respectable company that someone may want to come along and buy one day, or you can build to be a lifestyle business, okay? Hey, if you like this, comment. Tell me how you're outsourcing. Tell me how you're building systems. What challenges are you facing? Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank y'all so much. Hey, this is the only channel on YouTube that talks about the niche business of paternity testing. The only one. I really appreciate all of you tuning in. Thank y'all so much. And until next time, have a good day.